very true. And I think Dave touched in the other panel about how it's important for both brands and bloggers, because your blog is a brand, to have a presence on a Facebook fan page, because he wants to see that you take this seriously, that you care about your brand. I think we all have some really good insight, and I think everybody, as bloggers and as brands, want to drive traffic and get more customers. So I wanted to open up to audience questions and go from there.
One, Dina, did you just say that Facebook and Twitter are driving more traffic than search engines? Did I hear that?
I don't have those data. I actually read something on National the other day, and how Facebook, actually, oh no, not, did you say driving more traffic, or? Oh no, I think I said that more people are spending time on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
And Facebook is, though, sneaking up as a huge referrer of traffic on search engines like Google, like Bing, etc. Again, my evidence is primarily going to be anecdotal. So if I'm looking at someone's core metrics data, I feel like natural search is always going to be one of the #1 drivers to any site. But then you're seeing Facebook referring increasing amounts of traffic, Twitter, and certainly some super influential blogs as well, which is really amazing.
Next question.
Hi. A lot of times I hear in regards to brands who have presences on Twitter and Facebook that you go to their page and yes, you like the brand, you like the concept, and then I hear from other people saying, but would you sit down and have a beer with that brand? And how do you actually take it to that next level of having that engagement, but then driving traffic to the site, and then driving from the site to a purchase or to that longevity of relationship? So how would you take that beer and turn it into an ROI type of situation?
Well, I don't think that that's necessarily every brand's objective. I think that a lot of brands look to Facebook or Twitter, again, as a way to share their brand and their content with an audience. Certainly they may be looking to drive awareness, to drive buzz about certain initiatives. Mac is one of our clients. They have a really great Fashion Week tab right now that's live streaming from all of their shows. And then there are the brands that are looking for that to directly correlate into traffic and sales. And something that I always say to the brands that I work with is that you have to remember, what is the incentive that you're giving to a fan to identify themselves as someone who likes your page, or to actually engage them with your content. So an incentive doesn't have to be a promotional discount, it doesn't have to be a code. It can literally be really great exclusive content that you're not giving to everyone else. So I think that ultimately the brands that are most successful on Facebook and on Twitter for that matter tend to treat them as editorial platforms. And they may be, for the brands we work with, we literally build out editorial calendars that speak to each of those platforms so that you can see the synergies between content. You can see when you may have a wealth of content, when you may be lacking, and you can parse things out really strategically in that way.
Next question.
I think as far as advertising goes, Facebook's advantage is that it targets people and their interests rather than pages. And I think for many companies, that's what makes for a great conversion there. Is Google looking for a way to tackle that, to make the search results even more personalized?
I think recently, I'm not sure how recent, but like Twitter already started integrating their updates into Google search results. So if you're looking for a baby stroller, you might actually see what your friends are saying about certain baby strollers before Google search results actually come up. And this is like back in my finance, I actually worked with a deal to help the finance deal for that, and it was definitely a hard deal to get done because of all the cost synergies and whatnot. But yeah, that's already started to happen, and I think like Dina said, Facebook results already come up also in search. So I think it's already there. It's just a matter of again, I forgot who asked the question about seeing how your search results actually track into conversion. And I think this goes back to earlier points. We just have to be better about figuring out what measurement capabilities and currencies we use to measure social media, because at the end of the day, you have to convince someone with the budget that like this actually leads to X number of sales, and you have to be creative with coming up with a way, whether you're a blogger, retailer, brand, like this is the path that someone doesn't like. They do a referral, and it leads to like this number of sales. So.
Just to chime in, I think that the beauty though is that social media is inherently more measurable than a lot of these more traditional platforms, and people tend to forget that. I mean, I was once a PR person. I was a PR person for several years, and how measurable is PR? How measurable is advertising ultimately? People are dealing with formulas like ad equivalency when they work in PR and trying to quantify their results in that way. Meanwhile, whenever someone does anything online, they're creating data. So it's pretty interesting to take a look and see what you can measure in social compared to what you can compare in advertising, in PR, et cetera.
Yeah, and there are companies out there that specialize in these kind of like conversion metrics. Like there's one company, I met this one woman, she works at MediaMax in LA, and they actually work with like film companies and radio companies and helping figure out like how many mentions, like let's say Brad Pitt's coming out with a new movie like next summer, or it's coming out right now, and they'll track the radio how many times Brad Pitt's name was mentioned to see like whether or not their investment in the movie in Brad Pitt was even worth it at the end of the day. So.
I would just add to that really quickly from a Twitter perspective. There are 12 or 13 different things you can do with a tweet, and each of those things is a signal that you, from your account, are able to track, and whether that's a favorite or a retweet or a follow, any of those things are all signals, in my mind, of success. And also brand mention, at Twitter, with a lot of our brands, we do kind of a pre-brand mention and then kind of like a post-effort brand mention. And the results have been really, really positive. So, again, harking back, keeping track of what people are talking about and how frequently they're talking about it is also